I find you today to talk about the movie Angélique Marquise's Ange. And if I look down a lot, it's because I have my notes here. I want to do this series on my channel where I talk about French period dramas and especially the costumes in these movies. And the first episode will be Angélique Marquise's Ange, since it's my favorite period drama ever. The reason why I'm doing it in English is because French period dramas are not really well known abroad, and I thought it was a good idea to present it to you in English in order for you to be interested in them, and also to flex my French, because I will be saying the names of the places and of the people and the title in French. I wasn't able to use footage of my DVD because I don't know how to do it, and I don't think you actually can. So I will be taking footage of the internet, and I also take screenshots from the movie, so to illustrate my saying. I will mainly speak about the main characters' costumes and the women costumes because this is where I have more knowledge. I'm dealing here with the 2013 version. There is a 60s version. It's the mini-serie, I think. I never saw it, but it's the more popular in French. It's actually quite popular, but I never saw it, and it's all based on a novel. But we are doing the 2013 version. The costume designer for this version is Edith Vesperini. She is French and she has done many of the historical films. I will try not to spoil anything important because I like this movie so much that I want you to be able to watch it. Even if on my DVD at least there are no English subtitles, but it's really worth it. So if you're interested in watching it, I won't spoil that much, and I won't spoil the more important parts. So Angélique de Sancé is a woman that lived in Sancé, France. She's a noble woman. She will be married to Joffrey de Berac, which is Comte de Toulouse. He is as rich as the King Louis XIV due to his experiment of turning sand into gold. Because of his science and mostly because of his fortune, he will be judged for witchcraft because his fortune is carrying the king's counselors, and they will judge him for something that they don't really care in order for him not to become as rich or richer as the king. Angélique is also aware of a secret that she kept since childhood, and she is gonna get into trouble later in the movie because of this said secret. Angélique and Joffrey, I don't want to say Joffrey because it sounds like Joffrey Lannister in Game of Thrones, and I don't want to talk about him.
What did you say?
Angélique and Joffrey romance is what I love about this movie because it's quite realistic. Joffrey falls in love with her quite easily and rapidly, but it will take Angélique a few years, and it makes sense since she was forced to marry him in the first place. She never chose this life, so it's a more realistic approach of a romance in a period drama, and I really like it. She's even said to be the greatest lover in cinema history. Well, I think in French cinema history at least. But let's now dive into the costumes of this movie. I won't start with the first scene, like first costume we see, because the movie begins with the end. Like the first scene is basically a scene at the end of the movie, and I don't want to spoil anything, and also I want to start at the same time the actual story starts. So the story starts in 1655. We see Angélique dressing up for the marriage contract to be signed. Her maid is dressing her up. She's wearing a shift, she's wearing high stockings and a pair of stays that looks pretty accurate for the 17th century. A maid is also wearing stays, although she is wearing it right on top of her chemise, but she isn't wearing anything else on top of her stays. which I think because she's the maid of a noble woman, she should wear something over her stays, but it's not shocking. And she's also wearing a bonnet. I don't think it's called a bonnet at this era, but she's wearing something on her head, and it's something I've seen on Over's portraits of maid of the 17th century, so she's quite accurate. Angélique is putting this grey silver dress that doesn't look quite accurate to the era because of the color. I have to say color and collar. Collar. But in the story, they want this dress to look uglier than the one, like they all say that this dress isn't as pretty as the one Perrac sent to Angélique before, so I think it was on purpose. Like, this is the before Le Comte de Perrac, and there will be other dresses more beautiful that will be the after Le Comte de Perrac. So it makes sense to the story, but the shape is kind of weird. And a big problem in the appearance of Angélique is her hair, because they will always, or at least most of the time, be loose in the 17th century, which isn't accurate at all. Other women will have accurate hair, but not her. And honestly, this is not a problem for me because Angélique has my goal hair, like this long, curly, golden dream that is her hair is amazing. I wish I had this hair. I actually want this hair, so I don't really mind that they are loose most of the movie. And they also emphasize more rebellious. She's different from other girls. She's that I'm different from other girls. But she really is in her temper, etc. They want to emphasize how free of a spirit she is. So that makes sense, because they know how to do it. Other women has perfect 17th century hair, but I don't think it's a problem really. They know how to do it, and they chose for this character not to do it. So I think it's fine. I'm biased because I want this hair. We next have flashbacks from Angélique youth, so set way back before 1655, but during this flashback they have costumes that really scream Versailles costumes, like Versailles court dresses for me, and even for the men's, boys, because they're children. So I think there is a little problem here, because Versailles will be built in 1682, I think. So it's kind of weird. I'm not an expert in 17th century fashion, but it looks too old to be true. The color scheme of the Comte that we met after that scene is quite accurate to men's portraits of this century, wearing dark colors, mostly black with white color. I'm gonna say color and color. I'm trying to make them different words.
Color.
How am I supposed to do it? They are the same words. Anyway, a white color. A white color. So he's quite accurate. His scar, the scars actually that he has on his face, is also a main particularity, since everyone uses it against him. On the other hand, he is quite charismatic and seductive. So there is this balance between his scars that make him look ugly and like a monster. That's what the other characters say about him. So there is this contrast, and the contrast between how he is charismatic and actually a very good man. So I think there is a good balance between that build the character, because his scars is also part of his costume, you know. And Lilly.harvent, which is playing the Comte de Perrac, is so pretty that it works perfectly. Yes, I have a bigger crush on Le Comte de Perrac than on Mr. Darcy. Sue me.
Are you rejecting me?
Now let's talk about the wedding gown. She marries him right after she arrived at his castle. He prepared a little ceremony with not a lot of people because he knew she will not like a big thing. And he's saying that she should wear this red dress that is in her room because it will suit her well. And then he left. Angélique, being who she is, she won't choose the red dress. She will enter the chapel with a tailored man riding habit. Actually accurate to the 17th century, but not for women, because women will have wore skirts to their riding habits, and she is entering with a pair of pants. I had to restore the camera multiple times because of the heat she was burning, basically. So, where was I? The first time I saw this, like the wedding gown, the wedding outfit she chose, I was absolutely in love. I thought, what a power move. Honestly, that is so unexpected of a woman of the 17th century entering her own wedding wearing this. So, yes, we love it. And also, it is obviously on purpose. It's obviously on purpose for the story, because she doesn't want to do what Perrac told her to do, because she doesn't want to belong to him. So she is basically going the entirely opposite of what he wanted her to do. So it's calculated. Everything in this movie in terms of costumes is calculated. So it's perfect. And now let's talk about my favorite scene in the movie. My favorite scene ever, and the reason why what I'm wearing right now is called the Angélique chemise in my Etsy shop. It's the scene where she is looking at herself in the mirror, wearing her shift, obviously, because you never wear a corset directly on your skin. You always wear, at every era, every century where there were corsets and stays, there were chemises. And that is something that I've realized comparing French period dramas with Hollywood period dramas. We know as French the importance of chemises, and we also know that it doesn't make the character less sexy, because look at this scene. Come on. When her maid comes to fetch her for the ball, she is wearing a pretty accurate dress with her shift popping out, and she's wearing her hair up. And then Angélique is joining the ball, and the ball she's wearing, the dress she's wearing to the ball is my dream dress from period dramas. I wish one day I will make it and wear it, because god damn, this is the dress actually that is on the DVD, but this dress is amazing. It looks accurate. We see the shift popping out of the sleeves. What is less accurate is the stomacher and the way it opens and the way it folds at the top. But overall I think it's a pretty accurate dress. It has a modern feeling, but at the same time it fits into this movie. So I will say it's quite a perfect dress. Once again, her hair is not quite accurate. It's a little bit up. It's a little bit more up than we are used to, but it's still not quite a 17th century hairdo, especially her bangs coming like this. Doesn't really work. But it's pretty and we love it. The dress is also important for the relationship, because it shows that the relationship is evolving on Angélique's side, because she's wearing what Perrac wanted her to wear on the wedding. But Perak at this moment is having doubt about her fidelity, so him seeing her wearing this dress, at this moment he thinks it's for someone else. So it's kind of an important statement for the story and for the relationship. So it's a very important dress for the movie, and we love costumes that have meanings. So speaking of Angélique costumes, she will wear some costumes multiple times in a movie, which makes sense because the 17th century is a slow fashion century, like most centuries. But that means that even if you're very rich, like she is, you won't have a dress for a day. Shane doesn't exist yet. Good. Shane, whatever. But fast fashion doesn't exist. You don't have a dress for every day. So you have few dresses that you wear multiple times. And it makes sense that she's reusing her outfits in this 6 years span of time. We see her wearing man riding attire again later in the movie with a chemise and a pair of pants. That is when she rides, or at least is being active with her husband. He's kind of dressed up the same as she is. And he worked again for the story. It's not conventional, but her and her husband are not conventional people. So she basically can dress as she wants when she's with him and when they are only two, when they are only together, because they both have this open mind. So it makes sense. When she's having party with other people, she's more dressed up. And also, to come back to this idea of Angélique wearing the same dress multiple times, she isn't into prestige, she isn't into wealth, she doesn't seek wealth. She was just put in this rich marriage without really wanting to, and we know that what drives her isn't money, so it makes even more sense that she used the same dress multiple times. When Louis XIV comes to visit them, she's wearing a dress that has the same cut as the red dress, with the same stomacher that opens, and this dress looks more historically accurate than the previous one because of the fabric. It's my own opinion. Red was wore at this time too, but the fabric seemed more historical. But this time she has all her hair up, so it's a pretty hairdo she has at this moment of the movie. Love it. And she has this one curl that falls on the shoulders, and it's a Versailles, sorry. It's a why I say Versailles all the movie, all the video. I specifically said that I was gonna flex my French. Versailles. This is what we see when we see a movie about Versailles, the big hair and one curly strand on the shoulder. So her hair are getting more and more accurate over the movie. It can be explained, the fact that her hair are more and more up and well done. That might be because she's getting more and more used to the aristocracy, the nobility, and all that stuff. So it might be an explanation why. At this point we are not even at the middle of the movie, but I'm going to stop here. There are some very interesting costumes that come next, but I don't want to spoil anything and I want to encourage you to watch it. There is a turning point basically after this dress and after this Louis, like the king visiting them. And after that she's basically gonna wear the same costume all the time, or at least she's not gonna change costumes that much, and she's gonna wear stays, just like chemises and stays. So it's very interesting to see beautiful accurate French stays, and that's why I like also this movie, is to watch beautiful costumes while watching a beautiful story. It stopped once again. I'm having a hard time finishing this video. Overall, Angélique Marquise's Ange is a beautiful love story and a beautiful movie where the mid-17th century silhouette is respected. Besides these two main characters, the other characters are not playing that well, but this is what you get with some, if not most, French period dramas and French cinema in general. I'm not making the rules. But because it's a period drama, it isn't that painful to watch. You know, it's always this old language and this old manners, so it's fine, okay? Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you for another episode of French period drama, a costume analysis, next time.